Chef Rowley again, and we're going to steam this fly, and we're going to show you what steam does. And all the pressure and packing back on this fly that crushed this membrane, and any type of bent hairs, you're going to see what happens when we put some steam on it. So I have a steamer right here in the fly, and we're going to go ahead and get after it. You'll see that? Now you just puff it until it stops, or put steam on it until it stops moving, and then you've done enough. Because if we steam too long, then you can damage your hair. You can basically you can melt it. Okay, we've done some steaming, and now we're gonna start trimming. So we're just going along the bottom here. And we're going to do, on this one, we're going to do a little bit more of a flat bottom by request. And I'm trying to be aware of the orientation of my hook here and making sure that I have it nice and straight, holding my razor straight so that my cut is even now. And then occasionally I might take my hook off the vise and kind of look, or I might just kind of look down the barrel of it and just kind of see how straight I am in reference to my hook. And then if you have a little, so I didn't go all the way down and just do a deep cut, so that in case I have something a little off, I can kind of adjust it. And I noticed that I have this side over here a little bit too high, so now I have that forgiveness because I didn't just do a aggressive cut. Now I can kind of straighten it out. When you see a little line and you see that you may have a trapped fiber, good time to go ahead and pick them out. And you can see, if we can see here close, you can see it'll make these little lines at the bottom here, and we just get underneath them and pick them out. Now if you go too deep, then you'll hit your line, so make sure that you just get down to where you can see that you've trapped a hair. Okay, now we're going to start working on the shelf back here. And this is on a diver, this is the part that kind of gives us our splash. You can see by steaming this, you can see how tight this is, and the steam helped by puffing out that membrane that's inside the hollow hair. And any type of open space where I may have not got it quite as dense as I wanted it, steam will help, and it will help fill in all that extra space. If you're using a lighter to do the same thing as in the steam process, then you want to use your hand to kind of protect all this stuff like this, because the lighter hits this and it'll just singe it down. So we usually cover it up with our hand and then come through and then burn just the kind of the tips, and it'll do the same thing as the steam. You just have to be, steam is much more forgiving. You have to be real careful if you're going to use a lighter and burn your hair down. Okay, we're going to use these Demuth Custom Gold eyes, the matte eyes. And we think they're going to look pretty good. And I'm going to take a couple of these and kind of use them as sacrificial eyes to basically use as a template, okay? And I'm going to kind of stencil around these eyes, and so they'll stick on here. And then I'm going to take a burner, and I'm going to kind of burn around the edges there to make a line so that I know exactly where I want my eyes. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do your eyes. You could just stick them on there. I like to recess a hole to put them in, because it makes them stay on the fly a little bit longer, because it just takes one little tooth to get behind one of these eyes, and it'll rip it straight off. Okay, now then, this is a pretty cool little method here that has worked pretty well for me, is taking your little burner, okay, And then we're going to burn right around the edges of this eye. Let me put it on my click so I can see a little bit closer, get accurate. We'll be kind of gentle because your eyes are just kind of barely stuck on there. So just run the edge of this burner. Okay, let's see if when we take the eye off if we left a line there. You see it left a little bit of a line. Now, where we made that line, we're going to come in and kind of burn back in this open area. Okay, we're going to do a little hack here on the razor blade. And John showed us a few weeks back about how to easily and safely break your razor blade in half. So this is a good step right here. So you see this little tab cut off the side here. So here's the sharp edge right here. And then this little tab right here. We're going to break that off, and then we have this, we'll have a nice small little razor blade that we can get into a tight spot. And so you just grab this little tab right there and just bend it back and forth, and it comes right off. And the more you do this, the more comfortable you get with using these razor blades. Be careful where you set down your razor blades. I gave the suggestion earlier to get you a magnetic pad to kind of stick them to. You're throwing away in a trash can. Go ahead and just go and take it out when you're done, so animal doesn't get into your trash can, or your trash can doesn't get knocked over, and then it knocks your razor blades out by your feet. I'll talk about another bad habit, and it's something that I'm doing right now. Don't do this. Don't tie in your flip-flops, okay? You'd think I'd learn, but here I am doing it again. And I knocked about a year ago. I knocked my scissors off, wearing my flip-flops, and of course the scissors went straight down and it pinned my toe to my flip-flop. And so I just tell you from little mistakes that I've made, but look at me, I'm doing it again. I'm tying in my flip-flops. Not recommended. And so now we're just going to take some glue. Pretty much there's so many different glues. I'm going to use this Gorilla Glue right here. And but there's a lot of different choices of glue that you could use. So be kind of careful right here. Make sure you get right in the center. Now this is gel Gorilla Glue, but and it's been working good. But I think that you could use just about any super glue. Gel is a little bit more forgiving and easier to use. You can kind of stick it where you want. You have maybe just a little bit more time before it sets. And you get it kind of in the middle, because if it kind of squishes out around the edges, and when you push it down, it'll get on the outside of your eye. And that's not a good thing. Okay, I'll spin it around there. So this is, now I did smudge the eye just a little bit, and we'll clean that up later, but you can see now that I've got the eye nice and set down inside the hair right there. Yeah, you can kind of see it right there. Let's do the other side. And there we go. We got those eyes in. Now I'm still going to go now and put some, and I recommend this. Now you don't have to do this step, but I think this helps kind of solidify it. I'm still going to go and put like a coat of thin resin over the top of the eye and use whatever type you want. I'm going to be using Raid Zap, but you guys use whatever you have. Hi, Misha. No super glue for you. Okay. That looks good, and we're almost done. So our next step is to put the silly legs in, and then we're basically done. Okay, guys, we've got the eyes put in, glued in. We did our steaming. We did our trim. Now the last thing is to put our legs in. We're going to be using these new Simperfly silly legs, and we have a bunch of different colors, so I can kind of color coordinate. And you don't have to get that geeky if you don't want to, like me. But I like to. And so I'm going to kind of pick an orange, a yellow, and a black. And we're going to use a needle. So I like to use as small of a needle as I can. And because when you run your needle through the body, and we're going to thread these silly legs through the body, you might do a little bit of damage. So the smaller it is, the better. Now, one of the problems might be getting your little silly legs into the eye. One thing that might make it easier is for us to go ahead and cut a little point on the end of each of our little tiny legs. Then you just got to get the point right lined up with the eye, and it'll thread right through there. So that's a real easy way. Now, putting your legs on, this is another deal where I'm going to do it my way. But it's no problem for you guys to thread these little legs through at a different position on this body, because it's just movement that attracts the bass or whatever you're using this diver for. Okay, I'm going to look at it down the side and see where the shank is. And obviously I don't want to push my needle straight through where the shank's going to be. I'm going to want to go either a little bit above it. And I usually go above because I'm cutting it pretty thin on the bottom. But you can go under if you decide to leave your bottom a little thicker. And my point to go in is this little ridge that I have right there. I like to just go in right there in the ridge. So I kind of look at the ridge, and then I look through about where I think the shank is. And then I'm going to go ahead and try to slide it through. Now go slow, and I'll show you why. We're going to kind of get it stuck in there, and we want to make sure that we're going straight. And we're going to come out on the other side pretty close to the side that we're going in. And so right now, when I look at it straight, I know I'm way crooked here. So that's why I kind of stuck it in there and did. Now I have it a little bit straighter. And you may have to redo this a few times. Look at it again. Yeah, we're going pretty straight there. Another way that I like to pull it through that might make it a little bit easier is to go ahead and stretch on the legs a little bit on the other side too. Granted, if we pull the same, we don't go anywhere if we pull the same on one side as the other. So I'm pulling a little bit less on the legs. And it helps me pull them through the body here a little bit easier. Go slow. If you go too quick, you can break your little legs. Okay. Once you get them through, go ahead and grab the silicone. As soon as you can get a hold of the silicone, go ahead and grab it. So it'll assure that you're not going to break them. Let's pull them through. We think we got them about halfway through. We get our scissors. Just go ahead and cut our needle out. Now then, at this point, you could leave your legs right here. If something grabs your legs, then it's going to kind of pull them out. So I like to glue my legs in. Sometimes you may have a reaction with certain types of resin or certain types of glue with silicone. So you got to kind of experiment. I've been using this Loctite right here. We'll get it in the screen right there. Extreme glue. And it kind of, when it finishes, it's kind of like a window caulk. It has a little bit of give, and it's very waterproof. I've been using this, and it works fine. Well, let me show you the good way to get it up inside here. And so we want to get a little bit of the glue right here. There, we can see that. And I'm going to get my bodkin and just get a little bit of glue on the end of our bodkin. You see that? Just a little tiny dab. It doesn't take much. Now I'm going to turn this up sideways so that we can see. I'm going to grab the legs and kind of pull them down, and you'll see it makes a little bit of a hole. You want to get this the bodkin right down in that hole and then push down straight through almost as deep as you can go. And that's it. Let your legs go on this side. And let's do the same thing on the other side. Grab them, pull them forward, find that little hole right there, and then go ahead and stuff it down in there. And pull it out. And once that cures, your legs aren't going anywhere. That looks great. That's going to make some nice disturbance on the water. Okay, so we've done everything except for the very final step, which is putting a little bit of resin over our eyes. And I'm going to be using this Raid Zap super thin. And on this, you're going to have to be very careful. This is the thinnest resin that I've ever seen. So when you're applying it and you want to put on your precise applicating tip right here, and you don't want to squeeze this bottle. It's just instantly going to come out the way you want it. So once it gets on there, be very careful. You use too much, it's gonna go down into your hair. Now we want it to go down into our hair a little bit, help increase the durability of our fly. If you get any bubbles that may come out in your resin, you can just tap it with the tip of your applicator here, and they'll usually just pop. Okay, in your resin, you want to make sure that you have good coverage. Get a light source, kind of twist it in the light just a little bit, and then turn it in the light, and you can usually see any of the duller areas where you didn't get it spread. It looks like I have it nice on this side right there. See there. And let's do the other eye. And this stuff really comes out fast, guys, so be real careful if you're using this Raid Zap super thin. The finish is tack free. Blow those fumes away from your face too, or use a fan. And that is our finished diver. Thank you, everyone, for watching me tie a diver, and thank you to John and Kate for inviting me on Quit Finish Wednesday.